If you're watching on the replay, thanks so much for joining me. Welcome to the I Teach TV network. My name is Ashley Schroeder. I teach second grade in Northeastern Ohio, and I am coming at you this Tuesday evening, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, to bring you my organize, prioritize, and minimize tidbits. Tonight, I am going to be doing a part 2 of bullet journals that went over really well in part 1 last week. So if you need to catch the replay, head on over to iteachtvnetwork.com and catch it on all of the scope replays of all the scopers. Hi, Rachel. Hi, friends. Come on in. Let me flip this around. Hello, everyone. Again, if you are just joining us, my name is Ashley Schroeder. I teach second grade in Northeastern Ohio. I'm glad that you're here tonight on the I Teach TV network to join me for part 2. Hi, Mikey. Hi, friends. Hi, Meredith. For part 2 of bullet journals. So as you're coming in, do me a favor. In the comments, will you let me know, do you know what a bullet journal is? Were you here last week in my scope for bullet journals part 1? Have you heard of a bullet journal? Do you have a bullet journal? I want to know what we're talking about here, who we're talking about. Were you in here last week? Did you hear my scope last week about bullet journals? Have you caught the replay? The replays, as you're sharing that information with me in the comments, the replay is on iteachtvnetwork.com. You can catch all the scopers replay. And last week, I shared my bullet journal with you. And I explained what a bullet journal is. I explained the benefits. I explained the parts. And actually, I have a little bit of a solution or two for the part tonight. Okay? You watch the replay. You're going to watch the replay. You're not sure if you have a bullet journal. Okay, you bought a graph and composition notebook. That's awesome. Hello from Australia. Shell, thanks for joining me. All right, so I'm going to dive right in. I'm going to do a very brief recap of part 1. So if you didn't see part 1 and you didn't catch the replay yet, I'm going to get you caught up to speed as to what a bullet journal is. And then, like I said, I'm going to take a few minutes. Thanks, Amanda. I'm going to take a few minutes to move on to part 2, which is a little bit digging deeper into the nitty-gritty of a bullet journal, but it's actually going to help you tackle those tasks that just don't get done. I know that kind of sounds like it is not making sense, but I'm going to explain that to you. And if you stick around for the end of the scope, I have a bit.ly link for a freebie that will help you tackle those lists as well. So let's go ahead and dive in here. As last week, it's easier for me to show you slides of my journal, so I'm going to be showing you pages inside of my bullet journal. It is a graphing composition notebook, so if you missed my scope last week, again, part of my little recap, it's a graphing composition notebook, and I'm going to show you some slides of the inside of what it is. I'm going to do a super fast recap, and then I'm going to dive into the new content for this week. So let me flip it around. Okay, if you have the yellow hearts there, thanks so much. All right, let me go ahead and click on through here. You can take some screenshots along the way. I want to get you caught up what a bullet journal is. My bullet journal key is my actually favorite part. What I love about a bullet journal is that you can make it your own. I love all these symbols that you can create your to-dos in. It just keeps your eyes focused on what types of tasks you want to be tackling. Sometimes I sit down to tackle emails and I can see at a glance with my little email icon which ones are my emails. I love that. So I'm going to keep just going. Like I said, this is from last week. Oh, I'm sorry. I needed to rotate those images. This is the future log, and this is kind of at a glance a spread of 6 months of the year. Okay, this is my future log, and I think the next one's going to be crooked as well, and I'm sorry. Okay, the index is kind of like a table of contents. You mark the pages of what's going on in your bullet journal. So again, this is just a little quick recap. I'm going to tell you what migrated task means tonight. That's something I'm going to talk to you about. These are just kind of catch up from last week. Okay, so then when we get into the nitty gritty here, the November daily log, again, you can see all of those little symbols of things I've done. The X is things that we're crossing off the list that are done. That's the way to say, yep, did that, I'm done, moving on. And then all of the to-dos that I'm doing have their own little symbol. Most of them are bullets, but some of them have different codes, okay? And then I kind of actually created a different set of codes up here on the top of my page. So again, one of the great things is you can make it work for you. That's one of the things I love. Yes, symbols are an awesome way to do your to-do list. So here's just a glance at the January monthly log. You just kind of write all the dates 1 through 31, and then really what I love is writing down those days of the week: Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You would be surprised how many things that helps you map out right away. And then the second page of that, and you're going to see this here in a couple of pages is more when I talk about migrating tasks that you don't get done from month to month. This is your monthly task list. Mine has a little more on it now, obviously, as we're diving into the month here, but I'm going to show you what that looks like as you migrate tasks and what that means. So again, this is a really quick recap of what I talked about last week. Catch the replay for all the details. But this page, do you see that little A in the bottom corner? In my index, I actually created appendices for my bullet journal. So in the back of my bullet journal, I have about 6 or 7 appendices. I have a list for blog. I have a list for TPT products. I have a list for Periscope topics. All kinds of appendices that I have in the back of my bullet journal. And I just label them by letter. And again, they're a part of my index in the front of my bullet journal. Again, it's all in one place. Okay, so here's where we're going to dive into some of the new content this week with Bullet Journals Part 2. You see those little arrows, y'all? We're either going to, at the end of the month, if there's something we don't get done, we have a couple of options. One of the options is we can move that item. When we put that left arrow, and I'm going to show you in my notebook here in a second, if we put the left arrow or the less than area, if you're looking at it as a second grade teacher like I am, that's called moving it to the future log. And I'll show you why here in a second, because that actually goes to the front of your notebook. If you get to the end of the month and you haven't finished something or haven't done something successfully, Facebook ads or something I want to continue to work on, I'm going to migrate that task forward in my to-do list, forward to the next month, forward to my next list in my bullet journal. So that's going to be called migrating. I also circled another one of these tasks that's migrated as well. And as I switch to the next slide here, there you go. You can see one of my tasks that has been migrated to the next month. Actually, 2 of them. 2 of them I want to create a work schedule for myself, and I want to create a Facebook ad, a new Facebook ad successfully without it being denied, because that's been a challenge for me these last couple of months. So those tasks were migrated from a previous month. I also moved something to the future log. Unfortunately, I've just not had the work and create time to create my next pack, my math grabbits, which is #sadface, but I put it in the future log because I want to show you one more symbol, and I'm actually going to scroll back to the beginning of my slideshow here. If it is something, y'all, that you get to the end of the month and you decide, you know what, it's irrelevant to me, I don't need to do it anymore, it's not going to be worth my time, I'm just getting rid of it. You can just put, again, this symbol is something that works for me. You can just put a straight line through it. So if you get to the end of the month and you have a task that maybe isn't worth your time, just put a line through it and you know that you're not migrating it and you're not putting it in the future log. So really quick recap here is to show you my new content that we were adding to our bullet journals this week. When you get to the end of a month and you haven't tackled all of your tasks, you have one of 3 options, I think. One of 3 options is you can move it to the future log, which is in the front of your book, and I'll show you mine here in a second, or you can migrate it to the next month, which says, hey, you need to be working on that next month because you didn't get it done last month, okay? I am going to show you the future log, actually, Rachel. You know what? Let me dive right over here to my notebook, because here is my bullet journal, and it's a little bit of a sequential piece that I want you guys to understand. So here it is in my November task list, those same little arrows that I showed you pictures of. Now, y'all, because it's the future log pointing backwards, that's because the future log is in the front of my journal, if that makes sense. And then the migrating tasks are that arrow to the right. Do you add things all month long or just the beginning? Oh, all month long, a friendly teacher. And that's the beauty of the daily log, because you can add things on the daily log that aren't necessarily on your monthly log, if that makes sense. So then the migrating task, that arrow to the right, I'm going to move that on to a future task list, and I put it on my January task list, okay? Hopefully that makes sense. I do use a regular planner as well. I just like using this bullet journal. Let me flip this around a second. I like using this bullet journal to keep everything in one place. That's what I really love the bullet journal for, and how it's different from my regular planners. Okay, so you get to kind of move your tasks around with this part 2 of bullet journals, but now I told you last week that one of the things that's it kind of gets overwhelming to me with the bullet journal is because it's lists of lists of lists all in one place. So I think one of the best things about it is that it has everything in one place, but unfortunately, I think that can be kind of an overwhelming piece too. It's hard to prioritize. It's hard to look at that giant list and avoid thinking, how am I going to get anything done because I have so much to do? Well, if you know me at all, you know that I am a big proponent and practicer of single tasking. And so there are a couple of things you can do. And one of the things that I decided tonight is to use the power of a sticky note, y'all. You know I love my sticky notes. And I just made us this one task at a time without the sticky notes. It's just the blank squares under there. And so as you sit down with your bullet journal, you can jot down some notes. Maybe you have a mini list for school, a mini list for personal, a mini list for your blog, or whatever it is that you need to take care of. So I created us a little mini sticky single task list that I'm going to share the link with you for here in a second. The one task at a time is powerful. I learned this summer at the Teachers Pay Teachers Conference, Jennifer White from first grade Blue Skies taught us about the power of single tasking, doing one thing at a time. I know I talk about it all the time, but it is so effective for me. I try all the time to try to do everything at once, to get everything done at once. Y'all, it doesn't work like that. You need to take one thing at a time. So I have turned these little sticky notes into like mini lists, pulled out of my bullet journal, pulled out of those giant lists. I think the bullet journal is a great place to keep it organized and all in one place, but then those sticky notes and your single task and your cute, I like to use like cute little notepads, that's where your single tasks go. So your eyes, your brain, your focus goes right to that single task. Let me show you a picture here, and you're going to get to screenshot the bit.ly link so you can grab this little guy and just print it on some Astro Writes paper to keep it fun for free. Are you ready? So here is my exclusive freebie just for you. If you go ahead and take a screenshot there, if you go to bit.ly/free single tasks, you are going to be able to grab this free printable that you can use the 3x3 sticky notes to make your own little individual itty-bitty tiny to-do list. So use that bullet journal to make your master lists. But after you have those master lists, yes, it's such a good feeling. After you have those master lists, put itty-bitty tasks, itty-bitty to-do lists from your bullet journal right on your single tasking list. And who doesn't love sticky notes, right? So put it on a sticky note, and then the beauty of it is laminate this guy so you can use it over and over. And then somebody just said in the comments, when you're done with that sticky note, pull it off, throw it away, and then boom, your single task is done. Now, if you're like me, you're ready to like put another task on there, but that's the beauty of it. You can, one at a time, because single tasking is going to be where the productivity comes in, I promise. I actually have 2 minutes remaining tonight. Does anybody have any questions about bullet journaling, how I use my bullet journal, how I use my single tasking routine? Any questions that I can answer here before I go about my bullet journal? It is something that I'm still kind of perfecting my system for. Thanks, Mikey D. But I absolutely love that it's all in one place. And then, like I said, I make that work for my style of productivity. And when I sit down to work, I love my single task. So I still use that. Post the link. I can show you the link one more time, Amy. Do I spend on what? Setting it up? It really doesn't take long because you really set up one thing at a time. Just one page at a time. The bullet journal doesn't take long at all. There you go. I don't know, Amanda. You are the writing guru. Sorry, it's off the screen there. You're the writing guru. I think you should come up with some ideas and share that on your Periscope channel of how we could use that in writing. I don't know. I don't know about that. I think she should make it happen for sure. You guys got that screenshot? Recommend any color coding of any kind. That is such a good question, Jess. Jess just asked about color coding. Before I knew about the bullet journal, what I would do as far as color coding goes is I would highlight my priority tasks, where in the bullet journal you've got like a little asterisk as your symbol. Maybe a highlighter could be your do me right now. Maybe red could be some sort of, and I could actually come up with like maybe a little printable little code, like a suggestion card. If you're one of those people that likes color coding things, whether it's with flare pens,
like writing the tasks in different colors, doing the symbols in different colors. Maybe I'll come up with a little suggestion card. Maybe red could be something that it has like a deadline or something like that. I have not tried single tasking or bullet journaling with my students. They're in second grade, so I'm not sure how applicable that would be for them. Jess, would you like that? I will. I'll come up with like a little suggestion card of colors to use for this system. I agree. If you're organized, your classroom is set, and I just feel like you get to do so much more in your day when you know where things are, when you know what you need to do, when you know what you've done and still need to do. I agree. Okay, so if you guys don't have any more questions, thanks so much for your questions. Thanks for your hearts. I'm glad you guys have loved this bullet journal thing. I will come up with a little like color coding chart, if you will. Hopefully you're able to snag that freebie on the bit.ly. I'll turn it around one last second here as I'm saying goodbye. You can take one more screenshot if you've missed it or just joining me. If you're joining me on the replay, thanks for tuning in. I bullet journal when I sit down to work, so I don't really have a schedule for it. To-do list system. So there you go. You can take a screenshot one more time of where to grab this single tasking freebie if you didn't. And I thank you guys so much for joining me at Bullet Journals Part 2, and I will be sharing my bullet journal some more with you on social media. Make sure you find me at Schroeder Shenanigans in second and catch all the replays, including this one, at iteachtvnetwork.com. All the scope replays are there waiting for you. Thanks so much for tuning in and spending a little bit of your Tuesday evening with me. I hope you all have an awesome, awesome evening and an even better Wednesday. Talk to you soon, guys. Bye.